So I gave birth. um, so I didn't make it to 40 weeks. Obviously, if you guys have noticed, I didn't do week 39. Almost made it. He came uh, week 38, day 6. So he almost made it to week 39, but he didn't. And thank God, because I was honestly ready to pop. I felt it. I felt that he needed to come out. And I'm sure every pregnant woman feels that way towards the end. So, yes. So he came 38 weeks, 6 days. And boy, there is nothing quite like labor. I don't think anyone could really give an accurate portrayal of what it's like, but it's something that you just have to go through, and then in a way you won't forget. Like, you'll forget because you want to have more, because the newborn comes out and he's just so stinking cute that you can't handle it, but you don't, at least me, I didn't forget that, the pain. So I'm just gonna tell you guys my labor story. I put it in my phone because I knew I'd forget. I am 3 weeks postpartum now, and I have finally reached the calm. It was a storm initially for the first 2 weeks, let's just say that, because you're healing, you have a newborn, you don't even know what you're doing. Even the beginning of week 3, because I'm towards the end, it's Friday. And so I realized this week kind of how newborns work a little bit more so than before. And so I'm kind of a little more capable this week. And that's why I can record this, because I figured out how to manage my time a little bit better. But all the YouTube videos, let me just tell you guys this, did not prepare me for what it's like to have a newborn, what labor is like, anything like that. It kind of just happens and you go through it and you experience it and then you know. But I'm going to try my best. I just have like a few videos in mind that I want to make so that I can send these to my friends and stuff before they have a baby. They can watch these because I just feel like there's some really important information I want to get out there. But first of all, I just want to talk about my labor story. That is my wrong note, my labor story. So he came August 1st, 2020. I woke up at 1 a.m. and previous to this, it was Saturday, August 1st. Previous to this day, I had false labor a couple days before. And so I had contractions maybe for 3 hours straight, and they were inconsistent, and I thought that it was labor, but I knew to stay at home. So I stayed at home. After 3 hours, they subsided, and so it was like false labor. So yet again, I got this on August 1st, Saturday, the same kind of feeling, but this time they didn't stop. So I stayed at home for quite a bit of time because I wanted to make sure that this wasn't just another scare, a false labor kind of fake. I didn't want to go to the hospital and not give birth. So I woke up at 1 a.m. with contractions. There was no pattern whatsoever. I was going anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes between contractions, and they lasted anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. And this was happening hour after hour. So since 1 a.m. So 1 a.m. and then I was freaking out. I was sitting there for a little bit in bed trying to just like go through the contractions. Like people say, it feels like a period cramp initially. At 1 a.m., I was probably maybe 2 to 3 centimeters dilated because I had already been around 1 or 2 centimeters dilated previous at my OBGYN appointment. So anyways, I was kind of just freaking out a little bit because I was like, I felt deep down that this was it, but I didn't want to wake my husband up because I didn't want him to lose sleep over something like this. So I kind of just went around the house. I kind of like started packing. Well, I mean, I already packed for the hospital. But I grabbed all the bags and started moving it to the door really slowly. And then in between grabbing the bags, I would have a contraction. So I would have to get on the floor and kind of like crouch into like a fetal position. Sometimes, I would try to do like yoga positions. Different positions helped. But Nothing I learned from YouTube about breathing or positioning or anything like that helped, because during this time I mean, maybe breathing. I just remember to breathe, but most of the time I was just like in so much pain. Initially, it wasn't that painful, but it was uncomfortable. So it's just like 100 times a period cramp, just kind of like stopping you in your tracks, and you just kind of need to sit there, go through the pain, and then continue on. So around 3 a.m., still kind of similar contraction pattern, like 3 to 7 minutes apart, 30 seconds to 1 hour long. The air conditioner stopped. Probably sounds so nice now. 3 to 7 minutes apart, and they would last anywhere 30 seconds to 1 minute. Sometimes a little more than 1 minute. So I did notice they were getting more intense slightly, but still no pattern. So just know, like, pattern doesn't always happen for everyone, and it didn't happen for me. So then I started making banana bread at 3 a.m. and weirdest idea, but it really was nice because I made it and I was like munching on it because I was like, if I go to the hospital, I'm not going to eat anything. So I was just munching on that banana bread. 3 a.m. rolls to 4 a.m. Wake my husband up saying, they're not ending. It's been 3 hours. Like, this is it. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, I don't know. I think this is it. So I was like, just kind of get ready, like start like moving around, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this could be it. So, yeah. So then I told him, I was like, if I keep getting them by 5:30, let's go. Like, let's get in the car and go, because the hospital front doors open at 6. So I was like, it's perfect. We could just walk in the front instead of calling this number and going through the back and like all this stuff because it's after hours. 5:30 rolls around. I am literally trying to like grab my like pillow and everything and like get down the stairs to the car, and I mean, at this point, every time I got a contraction, which was probably about 4 or 5 minutes apart now, it did get shorter between contractions. I will say that. That did start happening, but it took so long. It felt like a long time, but actually my labor was really fast. So there's that. So I get down the stairs, I get in the car, I'm having contractions. I'm like, okay, like, I think this is it. I think this is it. Like, I keep questioning myself. We're in the car, and I was like, at least we're at the hospital if it's it. If it isn't, let's sit in the parking lot for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and if it keeps going, let's just go in. I don't know why. I just didn't want to be in the hospital. Neither did he, if we didn't have to be. And so, at that point, we got to the hospital. I probably packed way too much stuff. And I watched so many YouTube videos yet again about what to pack, and literally didn't need half the stuff I packed. So I feel like I'm going to make a video on that because I'm an overpacker, and if anyone cares to watch that, I'm going to make one, just even for my own self, so I can remind myself next time I have a kid to only pack these things. So I get to the hospital, get checked in, everything, still having contractions. This is it. I know it's it. It's kind of freaking me out. We get the nurse. She says she's only there for an hour because they switch at 7 a.m. We get the next nurse, both really nice. They check my cervix around 6 or 7 a.m. So this is 6, 7 hours later. They check my cervix, and I am at 4 centimeters. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. They're like, yep, you need to be 4 centimeters. That's perfect to check you in. I was like, okay, cool. Little did they know, within a very short amount of time, I would go from 4 centimeters to 7 centimeters. So then they checked my cervix again in an hour. So they checked my cervix in an hour or so. It was like about an hour, maybe 2 hours at most. Just remember, time is so blurry during these times because who the hell knows what I was doing half the time. I was just getting through, hunkering down, bearing down, just whatever to survive these contractions because they're just getting worse and worse. So at 8 a.m., I was 7 centimeters, and I couldn't believe it. And they were like, you know what? Very soon, you're probably going to have a baby. Hold on, my husband's calling me. Hello? Hi, what's up? Okay, sorry for that. I just needed to pick that up. Let's see, where was I at? I'm a scatterbrain right now. I think I was at my cervix was at 7 centimeters at 8 a.m. So yeah, so at that point at 8 a.m. I was like, oh my god, this is so painful. Like I was 7 centimeters. I progressed really fast. Like within an hour, I progressed from 4 to 7. And so I was like, I'm probably gonna be giving birth very soon. So I told my husband and talked to the nurse. I said, so can I still get the epidural? Like I was trying not to do the epidural, but I was like, can I still get it if I want it? And she's like, yeah, if you want it, like let's like let them know because the anesthesiologist is here now, and if you want it, you should get him while he's here. And I was like, okay. And so I waited probably about um 2 hours, I think. It felt like 2 hours. No, I think it was about 10 a.m. that you know what? Yeah. So it was 8 a.m. I was like, oh my God, I want the epidural. Then I told her, let's wait. And then around 10 a.m., I was in so much pain. I was making animal grunting noises. Like I went from like doing the horse lips, like, and I was doing it was just like the deepest breathing, and I was just grabbing my husband's hand so hard, and like just my toes were flared out, and I was in so much pain. I can't quite explain it, but the contractions were like 1 minute apart, and so it just kept happening, and I couldn't bear the pain anymore. And I said to my nurse, I can't do this. I don't want any more kids after this. Like, I cannot have this baby without the epidural. And so she said, let's get him in here. And luckily, he was still on the floor. And I just remember like being in this weird position where I'm like, my chest was out and my knees were bent behind me, and each contraction I had to like do something like this. And I don't know, it was just insane. I was probably at 10 centimeters dilated at that point, probably 9 or 10 centimeters, ready to almost to give birth, because that's what my nurse said. She's like, I think you were ready to give birth, but then you got the epidural. And so I had to sit still for 5 minutes to get the epidural. And you know what? I didn't even feel the epidural, the needle. Like I know it was like a little bit of but because the contractions were so bad, nothing hurt. So nothing was uncomfortable. Just the contractions were just the worst thing. You could literally do anything. Put an IV in me. Like, I don't care. So anyways, I literally knew at that point, like, I could not do it unless I got the epidural. And so I got it. I was really happy once I got it. It was amazing, but I was already 10 centimeters dilated. She checked me right after and she's like, you're 10 centimeters dilated. You're ready. And I was like, oh my God. I was like relaxed, but she's like, the baby's like coming down. And I was like, oh my God, I could have just pushed the baby out. If I don't know if the nurse would have been like, you're 10 centimeters, like, do you want to get the epidural? But no one said that. I should have known, because the YouTube videos do say that, like, once you say that you can't do it, that you're going to have a baby. So I should have known, but I didn't think about it because I was in so much pain. And my husband, I think he was traumatized because I was so insane. I was just, like I said, I was like in my own mind, my own body, just like going through these like crazy waves of pain and pressure and just agony almost. Like I think he saw it in my face, because I was like, I can't do this. Like I almost cried. I think I did cry actually for like a minute. So I get the epidural. My doctor takes 2 hours to get to the hospital. If he would have gotten there earlier, I could have had the baby earlier. But he got there. We're ready to give birth. It took me about 30 minutes to pop this baby out. The epidural makes it really strange, where you can't feel pain, but you feel pressure. And I knew that from just listening to what people have said. But it's weird. I felt my lower legs, and I was able to lift my left leg and lift my butt up with my left leg, but my right was pretty numb. But you can't feel your vagina, can't feel him coming out, just pressure. And when you push, it's the weirdest thing, because you feel him going down, but you don't really know. And when you're pushing, you don't know how hard you're pushing. And so that was what was so weird for me. I was like, am I pushing hard enough? They're like, push harder. And the best piece of advice I could give you for pushing, and I didn't even think about it until later because I had known to do this and then I didn't think about it. Just like tell your husband to remind you, but they'll probably forget too. So just go through the motions and remember later, like I did. But use your abdominal muscles because I was pushing originally and I feel like it wasn't pushing him as far. And then once I started using my abdominal muscles, which is weird because I knew I was using my abdominal muscles, um, he popped out really quickly after that. So yeah, no pain after the epidural. Previous to the epidural, I was in a lot of pain, but not till the very last like 2 hours. So labor was really good for me. I didn't need any Pitocin, no nothing to advance my labor quickly. I just needed the epidural, which I almost feel like I could have done without. And maybe for the second baby, the baby will come quicker and I'll have no choice but to just have him or her without the epidural. So let's save that for next time, you know. But overall, great experience. I feel like no one can quite prepare you for this. I just have to keep repeating that because it's just an insane experience. Any other things I'm trying to think about? Did I write anything down? Oh, you know, at one point my amniotic sac, so my water did not break. So what happened was while I was sitting there 10 centimeters dilated waiting for the doctor to come, my amniotic sac popped out of my vagina and it was like a little water balloon and it was like clear white milky like liquidy water in the popped out like water balloon looking thing. And so all the nurses and stuff came in and they're like, oh my gosh, how crazy, like your amniotic sac didn't even pop, it's just sticking out. So everyone came and I was just kind of like this cool like unique thing. I guess no one had seen that ever. I think my nurse saw it once like 10 years ago. And so everyone was kind of looking at me. I really didn't care. I had the epidural. I was like totally fine. And you know, as a nursing having been a nursing student, I was like, I would want to see it. So I was like, that's fine, everyone look. Anyways, yeah, so I have a very strong amniotic sac. I don't know what that means, but that's cool. Yeah, so he came at around 1 p.m. So my labor started at around 1 a.m. and ended at 1 p.m. 12 hours for my first labor. Very cool, really quick. Really easy breezy, really lucky. I thank God that it was just such a delightful experience in general. Like it wasn't delightful, but it was just good. It was healthy and like I'm really grateful. So that was my labor. And I'm just really overjoyed that it went so smoothly and now I have a newborn and let me tell you, it is a shit show over here right now. So I'm going to stop talking about this right now and get back to doing anything on my to-do list because I have no time anymore to do anything. So I gotta get to them quickly. Let me think. Is there anything I would say about labor that's important? If you can't handle pain and the epidural is really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I really did enjoy it. I did not like the postpartum part of the epidural. So there's that. Oh, sorry, quickly. I'm not gonna talk too much about postpartum, but I did tear in 2 places and I did get more hemorrhoids. So fun stuff. But the postpartum wasn't too bad. It was uncomfortable. It lasted about a week, maybe about a little past a week or 2. You have your nonstop period. Literally nonstop period. But yeah, so there's that. Oh, and then another thing, there's so much blood, and I don't know if everyone's is like this, but there's a lot of blood involved in labor. So get comfortable with blood. Yes, and I know most people poop on the labor table, during labor. I guess it kind of is a labor table, but I know a lot of people poop. I did. and my husband watched, and now I have no shame. He has seen everything. He saw everything, and so there's nothing to hide anymore. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, that's my labor for you guys. Thanks for listening, and if you are about to have a precious little one, good luck. And it's all worth it, and at least we have the epidural if you want it. So there's that. All right, guys, bye.